Raiders OTAs week 2, and one of the big things today, starting off the day, was seeing Malcolm Koonce finally back at practice for the very first time after sustaining a career-ending knee injury last season. According to Jesse Merrick, he tweeted out and even posted this video saying that Las Vegas Raiders edge Malcolm Koonce has officially returned to practice after rehabbing from an ACL tear before the start of last season. Now, this is definitely some great news, especially for the Raiders and for the defensive line. Malcolm Koonce is one of those players that a lot of Raider fans and even the Raiders themselves are looking forward to watching this year. Going into the 2024 season last year, there was a lot of expectations on Malcolm Koonce's shoulders to replicate what he did at the end of 2023, being the perfect opposite to Maxx Crosby, but we didn't get to see that last year because he was injured and the whole season was just a blur. Now going into this new season with this new regime, Malcolm Koonce could have easily picked up his ball and went elsewhere and got paid a lot more money, but he decided to stay in the silver and black because he just wanted to. He's got a lot of relationships. He knows Rob Leonard. He knows the defensive line staff. He knows Patrick Graham. So coming back on a cheaper one-year prove-it type of deal was really, really huge for the team. But just to see him back on the field yet again feels really, really great and has me looking forward to the season even more. I definitely can't wait to see Maxx Crosby and Malcolm Koonce start tearing up offensive lines and even quarterbacks. Now, some other news coming out of OTAs, we got to hear from Chip Kelly. As you guys may already know, I even stated it yesterday, Chip Kelly was one of the main reasons, I guess, to Ashton Jeanty on why he changed his running back stance. But when asked today, Chip Kelly basically stated that he never told Ashton Jeanty or anybody to change their stance.
Dylan McCullough, our running back coach, is in charge of stances, steps, alignments, assignments, and techniques, so he talked to him about that. I gave him an analogy of an athlete being in a bent knee position to make a play, and that kind of got blown into... I haven't told anybody on this team to be in any stances because I don't coach the positions. But it's a bent knee game. In any athletic sport you're playing, you got to bend your knees. And if you got to run a flat route on Fred Warner, you better be in a position to run because that dude can fly. So all we're trying to do is put guys in positions to make plays. He's adapted really well from going from here to here. So it literally is about 3 inches. So I really don't think that is that big a deal. So, but he's awesome, and he's such a coachable guy that you can do a lot of things with him.
Now, I'm sure with all the news, all the headlines, everybody and their mama in the media circles have been talking about this, and I know Chip Kelly was just sitting at home like, I ain't never tell him to do that. Even though he didn't really tell him to do that, you can tell that he was insinuating on him changing his stance of knowing how the NFL is played. And you know what? I gotta agree with Chip Kelly. There's nothing wrong with what he said, and whether or not he did tell him, I don't think it's that big of a deal. A 3-inch difference really is not gonna make that big of a difference. Well, to me, I think so. But I know a lot of fans, a lot of people that really enjoyed Ashton Jeanty's work really just didn't want him to change anything because he had a pretty dope looking stance. But as long as Ashton Jeanty can go out there and dominate at the NFL level, it doesn't really matter what he does. I'm pretty sure that the Raiders wouldn't even care if he was standing straight up, sitting down, laying on his back, as long as he's out there dominating defenses and looking as great as he was at the college level. I just feel like a lot of people are just taking this whole thing out of proportion. I don't really think that the stance really made him, but it did make him look like a badass out there. I just say, let's just get a couple of 100-yard games and a couple of 2-touchdown games, and I think, we'll be okay. Now, moving on to another rookie that actually has been getting a lot of love out there at OTAs today was wide receiver Donte Thornton Jr. Now, I just talked about this yesterday. Maxx Crosby had a lot of high praise on Donte Thornton Jr., named him as one of the standouts amongst all the rookies, especially on the offensive side of the ball when you got guys like Ashton Jeanty, Jack Besh. He specifically named Donte Thornton Jr., which is really, really big. And then you look at some of the pressers today at OTAs, he's been getting love from everywhere else. You got our wide receiver 1 as of right now, Jacoby Myers, being impressed with his play on the field.
I like him a lot, actually. I didn't know much about him coming out, but now that he's here, just seeing the different parts of his game, he's not just a guy that can run fast. He got some real receiver capabilities to him. So I'm excited to kind of help grow him and help push him along and just see what he could do on the field when the pass come on.
Then you got our offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly, praising him as well.
Donte is a unique in terms of he's just a hair under 6'5", and he ran 4.3. There's not a lot of humans on this planet that do that, and I think if you had to draw up an outside receiver, you would pick that type of body type, someone that's got length, someone that's got a huge catch radius, but also has speed sometimes you can get a big guy like that, but he can't really run, so they can stay with him. So, you add that speed element to him, his ability to sink his hips, his ability to get in and out of cuts.
And then, according to my guy Levi Edwards, he tweeted this out earlier at OTA, saying that 2 rookies who've shown flashes today, Jeanty and Donte Thornton, which goes to show that he's actually doing his thing out there. I know Maxx Crosby called them the next Martavis Bryant, and I feel like with the competition that's going to be going on in training camp, even during preseason, there's a really good chance that Donte Thornton Jr. could find himself in a starting role. The wide receiver position right now, like I said yesterday, is wide open for everybody else. Outside of Jacoby Myers, there's going to be a lot of positions open for players to fill out. And if Donte can go out there and show what he's been showing at training camp and even coming into the league, I believe that the Raiders wide receiver group should be in good hands. And that just adds more weapons for a guy like Geno Smith, who already has Brock Bowers, who already has Jack Besh, who already has Trey Tucker, heck, even Jeanty in the backfield. Then you add Michael Mayer out there. There should be no reason why I see Geno Smith throwing for under 4,000 yards this season, but we'll have to wait and see. But me as a biased Raider fan, I'm always going to get excited because I am excited right now. Pause. Now, the very last thing I do want to talk about today is the fact that Maxx Crosby, according to PFF, was ranked the 6th best edge rusher going into the 2025 season, saying Crosby had a down year by his standards in 2024, partly due to an ankle injury suffered in week 2 against Baltimore that lingered throughout the season and ultimately required surgery. His 74.3 PFF grade and 54 total pressures were his lowest mark since 2020. However, considering his previous 3-year stretch, during which he never graded lower than 90.1 overall and averaged 94 pressures per season, a bounce back campaign seems well within reach for the former All-Pro. Now, honestly, looking at it at first, I'm like, damn, really? Number 6? Out of all the edge rushers that are in the NFL right now, they actually had Micah Parsons, they had Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Nick Bosa, and Aiden Hutchinson all ranked ahead of Maxx Crosby. Now, I can easily go out there and say that he's better than Nick Bosa and Aiden Hutchinson. Heck, there's even a debate to say whether or not he's better than TJ Watt. But I do understand where they're coming from. I know that Maxx Crosby didn't have the best year last year. Heck, the Raiders had the worst season since moving to Las Vegas. So knowing that and knowing that Maxx Crosby was injured and he's planning to come back into 2025 at 100%, and also when you factor in Malcolm Koonce coming back healthy, when you factor in Christian Wilkins possibly coming back healthy and helping this defensive line out, I do see Maxx Crosby getting right back up there into the top 3, heck, maybe top 2, and he won't be number 2. Then again, I'm a Raider fan at the end of the day, so I'm going to say those things, but I feel like at 100%, Maxx Crosby is the best edge rusher in the NFL, and you can book that. Overall, just seeing everything coming out today at OTAs and hearing a lot of great things about the young rookies. Heck, even Pete Carroll having so much energy, bringing that energy to the field, bringing that energy to the players. A lot of players have been praising Pete Carroll. And I just can say that this year is definitely going to be one of those years where we go out there and shock not only the NFL, but all the fans that don't think that the Raiders are going to do something this year. We got all the weapons. We got the coaching staff. We got a quarterback in place. We got a number 1 running back. We got a lot of weapons that are starting to show out at the wide receiver and even the tight end position. So there should be no reason why I don't see the Raiders turning things around this season and possibly fighting for a playoff spot. But with all that being said, though, Raider Nation, I want to ask you guys, man, how do you feel about the Raiders? How do you feel about Donte Thornton Jr.? How do you feel about Malcolm Koonce coming back? Do you feel like they're going to break out this season? Who's a player that you guys are keeping your eye on going into the 2025 season? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Until the next video, this is your boy Simone Raider and your boys. Yeah.